sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one. Click on the shop button. How is everybody doing? I don't know about you guys, but I'm pissed off. These protests, I know everybody has the right to free speech and all this bullshit, but you know what? You're a bunch of crybabies. Sore losers. Get the fuck over it. George Soros needs to fuck off. You lost the election. Lick your wounds. Pick yourself up as we all had to do. You didn't see us out there protesting with Obama. Enough of this bullshit racist. You know, Hillary needs to go the fuck out there in public and say, stop. Election is done. I lost. It's over. We will regroup. We don't need the protest. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to change anything. And you're being used as a puppet, people. A puppet. Nothing more, nothing less. You are a puppet of George Soros. You are dancing for George Soros. Do you understand that? It's pisses me off that I even got to talk about this. Donald Trump showed that you don't have to be a politician. That you don't have to spend billions of dollars in an election. I just saw a stat that made me fucking laugh. 52% of white women voted for Donald Trump. 52%. That's a lot. That is a lot. That changes the tone. So, Obama's meeting with Trump today. And Trump did something nobody else has done again. He is the first president-elect to fly into Washington. What is it? Washington Reagan Airport. On his own personal jet. And on his own dime. It's always been, they were flown in, I believe, on Air Force One, on the dime of the American people. So, he's already saving us money. Probably save more money with that than Geico does. All right, that was stupid. Corny. I just can't believe all this crybaby shit. And now you're hearing from all these celebrities. Oh, I didn't mean it. I'm going to tell everybody right now, this weekend, I can't fucking wait for. It's not that I don't want to not do the show. I look forward to doing the shows. But I cannot wait. I want to disconnect this whole weekend. Decompress, as they love to say, all these keywords. And just relax. So on Bay News 9's, which is a local mouth liberal piece, but they did an article of Obama set to extend olive branch to Trump in Oval Office. Someone, and I've done it before, I've glanced at an article real quick and misread the headline. They thought they said Obama set to extend Olive Garden to Trump in Oval Office. Could you see that? Both of them going to Olive Garden and just sitting down to hash things out. Now, yesterday Obama, and I gave him compliments over his speech and the peaceful transition, yada, yada, yada. What the problem is, these protests, and it's not tinfoil hat, you can go to moveon.org's website, and they are the ones that started these protests that are going on. They're the ones that are organizing it. You don't have thousands of people, hundreds of people, showing up at a protest, all with professionally printed signs out of nowhere. This was set up in advance by MoveOn.org, which is a Democrat organization, a liberal, funded by George Soros. Mitch McConnell's speaking. I didn't know he was. Let's go over to that.
Authorities for at least.
Nope. My bad. I feel like an idiot now. MoveOn.org was formed in 1998 in response to the impeachment of President Bill Clinton. MoveOn.org has raised millions of dollars for candidates it identifies as progressive. I'm reading through some of the information on it. What's funny is in 2016, MoveOn.org endorsed Bernie Sanders for president. Contributors to MoveOn.org during the 2004 election cycle included George Soros, George Soros is out to start nothing but trouble in this country. He has destabilized Europe, and he's trying to do the same thing here. And I can't believe there's so many people willingly jumping on that bandwagon to do nothing more than start trouble. And it pisses me off because, and I was young and dumb at one time too. And that reminds me, there was this person on Twitter that said that the older people's vote should only count half. This is what they're indoctrinating our kids with, people. And her justification is we're going to die sooner than she is. The young people. So they have to live with the consequences longer than us. And I was going to comment, but I tried to read through the comments, and someone told him. Because she's like, well, we got to deal with the consequences, yada, yada, yada. I mean, she got lambasted. I mean, she was stammering and stuttering on Twitter. Because they were like, oh, so you want to take away people's right to their vote. You think that people have lesser vote. And another person put, yeah, but with age comes experience. Because she showed a map of people like 18 to 34. The whole country is blue. Yeah. Because your ideology has not been set yet. You have this utopia ideology of the world. And as you grow older and learn more and start paying taxes and start paying bills, you start learning, holy shit, that's not the real world. And your views start to change as you get older. You give up on this when you start having a family and you have your own kids you got to worry about. And you're getting money deducted and taken from you so you can pay for people that don't want to work. Not that they can't work. They don't want to work. I believe we should help those in need. I have no problem with that. We are a generous country. We should help those that need it. But we don't do that. We help those that don't want to do shit. White, black, pink, purple, and green. We want to help these refugees, quote-unquote refugees. They're not refugees. They're fucking invaders. And don't tell me they're fleeing a war-torn area. We have to save the women and children when a majority of them are men of fighting age, you morons. Stop believing everything that is fed to you by the media. The ones that deserve our compassion. Now, understand this. We need to help our vets. We need to help them. They did some things that most humans will never understand. We need to help them. We have homeless vets. No health care. No nothing. But instead of helping them, we're giving freebies to people that want to break our laws and come into our country illegally. That want to come here to destroy our way of life. Time and time again, that happens. But we turn our backs on them. But that doesn't mean just because you're a vet that you say whatever you want, do whatever you want, type deal. I've gotten arguments with vets. I have a right to disagree with them. You have a right to disagree with them. But you do it respectfully. You do it respectfully. I've had disagreements with vets, and you do it respectfully and you have a conversation. And that's the problem. Nobody has respect for anybody else anymore. Everybody wants respect, but they don't want to give respect. It's so... This world, this country we have right now, it is scary. We have our kids being indoctrinated to hate this country. I'm so sick of this ideology. Trump's a racist and all this crap. That's the problem with these goddamn elections anymore. They go around throwing all these accusations out. Unfounded, false accusations. And then what? Now we're left with this mess. We're left with a huge mess. And I don't see Hillary Clinton, who cares so much for the country, doing anything to help clean it up. It just... And these groups of people that are so easily tricked. It scares me. They don't look into any of they don't look into the information. And it's not making Trump look bad right now. Do you know what has been pushing and helping Trump? Is these protesters. These groups that are being tricked into doing the dirty work of certain nefarious people. And it's pissing off a large portion of the country because we're tired of it. But they think they're justified. They think they're justified, so they're going to continue doing it because they're told they're justified. And I'm laughing about Kaepernick. Sorry, Kaepernick. Because he was doing this and standing up and all this. He didn't even vote. Now that he's getting lambasted for it. So this I found kind of neat. Again, Trump is the first president-elect to fly in on his own airplane. When he landed, he was given a water salute. For those that don't know, the fire trucks come out and they start spraying water over the plane as it goes through. It's going to be a long 2 months. And everybody thought it was done with. The elections were done. We can get back to normal. Nope. Nope. We've learned that the last 2 nights. And yes, after the elections, these protests and riots started to happen. What's funny is someone made a comment on Facebook and said in the 60s they would use fire hoses and basically not mustard gas. They to disperse the crowd, they would use non-lethal. The person, that's it. You want to go back to the 60s and races and all this? That's the problem. Well, you got a bunch of people protesting for no fucking reason like in the 60s, except just to start shit. And don't give me the hippie bullshit about what the protests were about. Bunch of little whiny goddamn teenagers. Well, not teenagers, but young adults that don't know what the hell the world's about, protesting a utopia. I said it multiple times during the elections. It seems like we've gone back in time. And we got these hippies coming back and starting trouble in this country. But they have the right. Everybody's right now scrambling. Who's going to get what position? Oh. I'm looking at one of those predicted maps of how it's going to turn out. And Trump at 215, Clinton at 274. Yeah. Red Nation Rising, we turned that map fucking red. We flipped states that should have been a lock. And what's funny is, again, I've said this before, so it's not a new revelation that, I can look back. I said since the beginning, I was scared shitless of Bernie Sanders. I figured he could win over Trump. I honestly thought he could win over Trump. So the Democrat Party trying to control screwed itself. They screwed themselves. It's I don't know. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising Radio, YouTube, Speaker, and iTunes. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
Listening to the SHR Media Network. Now at Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. And we also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey takeovers here, we have expanded into 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one and click on the shop button. Coffee. Coffee, coffee, coffee. What's going to be nice is I think we're going to get back to a president that will respect the Marines, respect the Secret Service that is around him. This country, it just, we're in trouble, people. We are deeply in trouble. Oh, and now California wants to exit the United States. Except that I got some friends that are in California. Otherwise, bye-bye, bitches. You're going to need passports to come into the country. You're broke. You can't pay for yourself. You're not going to get any more federal aid from the United States. You're not going to get any. You're going to have to pay tax to import your movies into our country. You are so screwed. It's not funny. This childlike temper tantrum. I tried saying temper tantrum as one word. Yeah, that didn't work out well. This temper tantrum, and it makes you look like a bunch of fucking children. My 13-year-old acts more responsible than the left right now. We want to leave. Listen, the conservatives, we lost 2 elections for the president in a row. 2. We were pissed. We didn't like it. But did we protest? No. No, we didn't. I don't remember any, we're going to succeed from the union because we didn't get our way. Wah. Oh, we got Crash calling in. How are you doing, Crash, today? How are you doing, my friend?
I'd like to speak to your supervisor, please.
We don't have supervisors here. We're all equal.
Bullshit, motherfucker. We ain't equal. You voted for that racist. God damn it.
Oh,
Sorry. I've been listening to that crap all morning. I couldn't help it. I had to call and harass you.
I'm sick. I am honestly sick. From
I've literally been driving around, doing some running around this morning, and I'm listening to a talk radio show on the radio station up here, and that's what's going on. Everybody's calling in, and they're saying, "Oh my God, everybody's so scared. Nobody wants to leave their homes," and it's not because of Trump, but it's because him being elected has empowered all these xenophobic and racist rednecks to start coming out, and now things are just going to get so worse. A women's lib is being set back to the 50s. Racial discrimination is going to go back to the 60s. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? It is the biggest goddamn joke I've ever heard.
Well, also, you got California now. They have a Twitter tag of the Cal X. They want to succeed. They need to leave. Well, I got a question. Yeah. They're broke, aren't they? Number one. The only reason how they survive is a bunch of federal aid from the United States. They would lose a lot more money because it has me pissed off.
We started touching on this last night on the show, and if memory serves, and I can't remember exactly how it worked, but the United States was essentially formed by us buying out or going into armed conflict and winning territories from other nations. I mean, Florida was originally a Spanish colony. There was Mexico. There was France. There was a lot of other countries that had laid claim to territories on this continent before the United States was truly formed. And if memory serves, and I can't remember exactly how it works, but Texas, the state of Texas, is the only state in the United States of America
I looked into
that
it.
can separate.
No.
They can't.
No.
Okay.
It's actually a myth. I don't know how it started.
Okay. Well,
I don't mean to correct it. It's just.
No. If I've said it plenty of times. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay. Fuck you.
No, thank you.
No, they're not going anywhere. These people are throwing temper tantrums because they didn't get their way. Now, the irony is, this is the true irony, is they were all saying that, it's the Trump supporters. We're the violent ones. We're the violent ones. We were the ones causing all the disruption at the rallies, and it was his rallies that were so violent. I'm sorry. How many fires have been set? People have been getting hurt. There was already a shooting. Windows of private properties, again, being destroyed. It's not Trump supporters out there doing it.
Nope, and they're trying to, MSNBC, one of the friends of the radio station, Carrie Donovan, she was, I feel sorry for her. She was listening to MSNBC last night, trying to, see what's going on the other side. And they were saying how this was a organic protest that sprung out of nowhere. Problem is, you go to moveon.org, set this up election night.
Mm-hmm.
If this was so organic, how can they have all these professionally printed signs by the thousands?
You know what? I will concede and I will agree that this was a sporadic protest over the election results, just the same as the attack on Benghazi was a sporadic peaceful protest over a video. How's that one for you?
Dead on.
Shit.
While you're here, because I was just getting ready to go to it, I mean, I've been going on about this bullshit. It's pissed me off. But, in California, or excuse me, Washington, the Seattle City Councilwoman was protesting with people, screaming that they need to go on Inauguration Day and shut down Trump's inauguration. So you have a elected official out there prodding this shit.
How are you going to shut down his inauguration? You can disrupt it. You can be obnoxious and a whiny crybaby, but you're not
Secret
shutting
Service
it down.
will shut them down faster than anything. But I digress. Someone did the math, and Trump's 2016 election would have beaten Obama's 2012 election.
Well, now I guess we're racist and sexist.
Yes, exactly. But it's the numbers he got. Now, it doesn't take into effect, would he have had the same type of run? Would he have the same, everything would have been the same, that he would have got the popularity. There's always that argument. But by looking at numbers alone, he would have beaten Obama in 2012.
Yeah, and the numbers say that, but I mean, just like you said, though, the climate was different back then too. So would he have gotten the same type of support? Honestly, well, you know what the thing is, I was getting ready to say that he would have, but I'm not entirely sure because a lot of the climate, I mean, there wasn't the ISIS threats. We weren't getting attacked on our own soil again. So I don't know.
There's a lot of and I concede that point. I just find it funny looking at the numbers because everybody's like, "Oh, maybe if Obama would have ran third term, if he could have."
Nope.
No, but hypothetical. Then it's like, no, he wouldn't.
No,
have
he
won.
wouldn't have won. Even if Obama and Clinton had run a split ticket together, one for president, one for vice president. At this election, I still don't see him winning.
No, he would have lost.
Even those two together, those two together would have lost.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Buddy of mine put up on Facebook, all you protesting and bitching, you should have fucking voted. End of story. Because a lot of the millennials that are out there protesting against Trump didn't vote. They didn't vote. The vote wasn't there.
Well, you know what? I can't remember. I know you said it. Actually, I think my dad might have been the first person that told it to me. If you're not going to stand up and have your vote counted, you get no right to bitch about a result. That's all there is to it. If you're going to sit in your house and you're not going to take an action, but then you're going to complain about the actions taken by others.
Well, I agree but disagree at the same time, because everybody has a right to their own way of freedom of speech in the country, and voting is a form of freedom of speech. And not voting is a voice of discontent of what's going on.
Okay.
But then again, like you said, your point is valid too. I'm not arguing against that point, because my dad has said the same thing. If you don't,
but that's a very good way of putting it. Honestly, I didn't think of it that way, and that is, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That is a form. But on the flip side of that, you're talking about an election where you're talking about something where we're voting between two individuals that are going to run the country that you live in two different fashions. So your protest against one and in support of the other one is to vote for neither? That doesn't sound like, I mean, honestly, to me, that just sounds lazy. I'm sorry, that's my opinion on that.
I agree. And
if you didn't vote for, I know a lot of people up here, they didn't agree with either candidate. They actually could not bring themselves to vote for either candidate. So they did a write-in for Daffy Duck, or they just voted on the other sides of things. They voted for the referendums, they voted for, town council members. They just couldn't bring themselves to vote for a president, which, okay.
Oh, man, I feel like an idiot now. I got to interrupt, and I do apologize. I got to interrupt. Because remember yesterday I made the joke of that the DNC will no longer be writing checks for protesters?
Yes.
Well, someone found a Craigslist ad in New York for the protest last night.
Well, remember we talked about it last night. Just because one thing went down doesn't mean that their movements are going to stop. Doesn't mean that they're going to give up the fight. Most of it,
I expected them to come hard and heavy in 2018. I mean, you know what? They lost. Get over it. 2018 is 2 years away. Put your efforts into making sure that they flip the House and Senate. As much as I don't want to see it, put your effort. Stand up, get involved, do the work. No, they just want to run around protesting and whine and cry. It's not going to stop the election. It's done. He's elected. Shut the fuck up. Sorry.
Now, here's a question for you, because you're more up to speed with all this than I am. Okay. So the Republican Party controls the White House. We regained control of, what was it, Senate?
No, we had control. We actually lost 2 seats. But we have I think we have 51 seats, plus the vice president. So,
do we have majority control of all three branches right now?
Yes. The House we have over supermajority. We only needed, 218, and we have 230 plus.
Now, see, that I don't overly like. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't overly like that. I've always been on the belief that no political party should have majority control over all three sides. Now, we've also seen in history that just because you have the control doesn't mean you can initiate massive changes. I mean, Obamacare should have been able to be pushed through almost immediately because the Democrats had control of both.
But let me jump in. This is the first time in almost 100 years. 100 years. I think it was 1928. Or within the 1920s, was the last time the Republicans had control of both Congress and the presidency. They've never had it in 100 years.
Really?
Democrats have done it, The Republicans haven't.
Really? Okay, now that I didn't know.
So, you know what? I have no problem giving them a little leeway to see what they can do.
No. And the thing is, honestly, that statistic I did not know. But I've always been leery about one political party having complete control.
I've said it. I like it. I like more of a 50-50 split with both parties. It's the yin and yang thing. I don't want all control conservative because they'll take it too far to the right. Just as I don't want all control on the left because they'll take it too far left.
Yep.
It's the too hot, too cold theory, you know? And I'm with you on that. And I get lambasted for it, but, you know, it's...
Now, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where this stuff goes. I mean, the thing is, I've said before, everybody's so worried about him doing all this massive stuff and him doing all this and that. The fact of the matter is he's still one person. He still has to get Congress's support to initiate a lot of the things that he wants, unless he's going to go the same road that Obama did and, you know, the pen and a phone thing, and I'm just going to write all my own laws, which I don't see him doing. I mean, he's already vowed to undo a lot of the unconstitutional executive orders that were put in place. So I don't see him going down that road. I see him pushing very politically and using his seat of, the seat of the presidency to influence and to try to get the votes needed to push certain initiatives through. But at the end of the day, the guy is still a businessman. And I don't see some of the stuff. I mean, everybody's petrified that everybody now is going to lose their health care. Well, here's the truth. Most people lost it through Obamacare anyway.
Yeah, there's more people without insurance now.
Exactly. Now, he's even said, the funny thing is, they grasp onto one thing with that. He says that he wants to repeal Obamacare, which, yes, he has said. But if you listen to the full statement,
he wants to replace
it's repeal and reform it. It's not just get rid of it and throw it out and never have it. It's remove what was done, redo it, and bring a better system back.
And he understands, the Republicans understand that the barn door has been open on it and they can't remove.
Yeah, the thing is, honestly, I don't understand why we had to go with a whole new healthcare system anyway. We already had Medicaid and Medicare. Why not just expand programs that were already there?
I've said that.
Make them more efficient.
Okay, you have people that can't afford it. You expand Medicaid, and I'm just throwing a number willy-nilly out there, just throwing one out there so nobody jump all over. Well, that's not feasible. A family of 3, husband, wife, and a kid. If you're making less than $40,000, you get put on Medicaid. Boom.
For a family of 3 at $40,000, that would be wow.
I'm just throwing a number out there.
I know, but I had to jump on your number just to be an ass. Come on, man. It's a game.
You changed the law of pre-existing condition. Done. You change certain things, but you just don't take the whole system and destroy it. And that's what they did for no good reason.
The pre-existing condition thing, I think that always should have been there. It's not that you should not be denied coverage or lose your coverage because you get diagnosed with an illness. The whole point of the insurance is to help with that.
Exactly. I never understood that. So because I have a health problem and need health insurance, you're denying me health insurance. Huh?
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's fat cats patting their own pockets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, honestly, one of the biggest things they could do from a regulatory standpoint to help with insurance costs is, 1, work with the insurance companies, but 2, go after these hospitals and the pharmaceutical companies that are charging exorbitantly large rates for things just because they can. I mean, we saw what Mylan did with the EpiPen. I mean, $600 for one pen, and they're only good for 12 months. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And on top of that, another company comes out and they were going to offer a cheaper version to make it affordable, and Mylan, use their political influence with the FDA and with representatives to block that company from ever getting formed, which solidified their hold on the market. And right after that happened, prices skyrocketed on their product. I mean, that's the crap that the politicians need to be going after, is that type of crap. Because I'm not saying the government should control it. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that if the government were to step in and say, whoa, you know what? We've got laws about price gouging. We've got laws about monopolies. Actually utilize the systems that are already there to keep these guys providing a fair service at a fair price, and that's it. A lot of this shit would become cheaper and more affordable for everybody anyway.
Yeah. So someone made a new meme, and it says if we're a basket of deplorables, does that mean they are a boulevard of brats?
Oh, man.
So Clint Eastwood has been suspended on Twitter for putting out a tweet thanking Americans who voted for President Trump.
But he got kicked off of Twitter because he put out a pro-Trump thing?
Yep.
Okay, so that's not violation of free speech.
They've already said you don't have a right to free speech on Twitter. It's their property. They could have whoever they want. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Enough. All right.
Yeah, I know. But see, it's that type of mentality that makes me never want to utilize their a service like that.
I've said it multiple times. The only reason why I use it is because of the show. Otherwise, I would never be on that pit.
The funny thing is, now here's the funny thing is they advertise and yes, it's their property, but at the same time, you know what? They're falsely advertising because essentially it's always been that our Twitter service, this is for people to voice their opinions and to get things out there and to discuss items amongst other people, other like-minded people, or blah 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 blah. But as soon as you post something that they don't agree with, they're just going to kick you out. So you're really not providing the service that you're saying that you're providing. Now, if it was a pay-for service, if people were paying for the subscription, I would say go after them. But it's a free service, so what are you going to do? Other than call them out for being the hypocritical SOBs that they are, which that's what I'll do. They're hypocritical SOBs.
Well, I'm going to use their own words against them. And when everybody was bitching about, the Democrats winning, we won. Elections have consequences. Can you tell me who made that quote?
We won. Elections have consequences?
Yep.
First time I've heard that quote.
No, you didn't hear that? I remembered it.
I don't remember that one.
Barack Obama said that. And then his next sentence was, go out and win an election. And that's when pretty much we went on a tear winning elections.
Pretty much what?
The Republicans went on a tear and started winning elections. After he made that comment, the next election, we started winning. And you know what? That's what I'm telling these protesters. Not that I want them to go out there and win a bunch of elections, but you know what? The vote is done because their new thing is they're blaming old people fucked up the country. It's their fault. There's been chants going on. They can't wait for boomers to die.
Now, the irony is, if you look at the census for the eligible voters, if every single millennial has showed up to vote, they could have taken the election from anybody.
Yeah.
So all these colleges that are shut down, everybody's protesting, blah, 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 if they had all showed up to vote.
Are you walking backwards?
Oh, you're funny. Oh, you're funny. Uh-huh.
That's why you're laughing.
Fuck, touche.
Now, what's funny is there was a chick, and I talked about it earlier, and I know you'll love this one. She went on about how older people should only have their vote should only have be worth half a vote, because they don't have to live as long as the young people do with the consequences of their votes. So we shouldn't have a full vote. Oh, she got lambasted, and I mean, she got attacked because they went after her saying, oh, so now you're subverting it, saying certain groups don't have a full right to vote. I'm not saying, no, that's exactly what you said.
Exactly what you said.
And then someone came, they're like, she's trying to explain, going, yeah, but I got to deal with the consequences, not these older people. And if it was an age group of 18 to 34, we would have turned this whole country blue. And she showed some chart, which, yeah, so what?
Now,
but hang on, I was going to make a comment, but someone else finally made it and said, yeah, but with age comes experience, so why shouldn't our vote count even more?
Uh-huh. Now, the irony with that statement that you made right there, with age comes experience, the irony I find with that is the fact that if you look at most people, everybody's yelling that, okay, it's the old people, that's the reason why the Republicans won, so they're blaming it on the old people. Now, the funny thing is, you talk to most of the older population, or the middle-aged population, and they started out, when they were younger and idealistic, they started out as Democrats.
Yeah.
With age comes experience.
Once you start getting a family, you got to support a family, and you start having all this shit taken out of your check keeps getting smaller because you got a bunch of people that just don't want to work. You start going, wait a minute, that system doesn't work. That utopia isn't there. I got a family to feed. I got bills. I got a house to pay for.
And now you're saying that, okay, they don't have to live with the consequences? And the Democrats have been cutting Social Security benefits. Yeah. They've been the ones responsible for that. So what do you mean they don't have consequences?
What was the other one? Someone came up and said, yeah, but the difference also is the older people, yeah, they may not have to live with the consequences, but they got to worry about what kind of world that they're leaving for their kids and grandkids. So they are worried about the long-term effect of their elections.
The funny thing is, in all honesty, I'd venture to say that a grandparent, worries more about long-term consequences, and only a parent would actually understand this statement, and that is, once you have kids, you're no longer living for yourself. You're living for them. Every decision you make, you're making thinking about them, how it impacts them. What's the repercussions in the long term on them? It switches from me to somebody else. And only a parent will actually understand that statement. And if a parent wants to dispute that with me, that's fine. I will freely have a debate with a parent about that. But if you've never had to care for another human being, you haven't had a human being that relies on you for support and for guidance and for their livelihood, I'll listen to you, but, don't be too offended if I don't give it a whole lot of credence.
You should go on Twitter just for the fun of it, just to see some of these. No, this one would have you laughing.
My blood pressure medication can't go any higher. It's already maxed.
No, this one would have you. I mean, this girl, she's threatening suicide. I'm serious. And I had to turn the volume down because she's screaming and crying so loud and so, I can't believe it. I'm going to kill myself. Oh. I was just, oh my God. Drama!
Okay, so she's yelling and screaming that because of the Republican run, she's going to kill herself and all the rest of the stuff, but it's the Republicans that are too unstable to own firearms.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Oh, and this one. Despondent Democrats bring therapy dogs to Capitol Hill after Trump victory. Oh, shit, I got to take a break, bro. We'll be right back after this message.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, at Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to support the show or support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one and hit the shop button. I want to welcome BZ to the show. How are you doing today, sir?
Well, good afternoon to you, Joe, and how are you doing on this incredible week?
I'm very happy, but at the same time, very pissed off. To be honest, these protests have me livid.
Yes. It's been a good week, and yet in some ways it's been a week that's been very challenging for us and for the loss of, well, acquaintances, friends, etc., etc. But I guess line drawing gets you somewhere, gets you a little bit more familiar with who can stand a casual friendship and who can't. I can get into detail on this in a little bit, but first I'm curious what you were speaking about in your first hour.
Actually, I had Crash call in, so we've been just jousting back and forth, talking about jumping around a lot on these protests, and a little fact that I came across on a totally different subject, but Trump's win. The numbers alone, if you just looked at the numbers, I know was a different atmosphere, different issues popped up that allowed Trump to win. But Trump's number would have beaten Obama in 2012.
Yes, that's interesting. I read an article about that. Now, the numbers are still coming in, and I haven't looked, but last I heard is that obviously he won the electoral, but apparently lost the popular. Now, like I say, I haven't looked at the numbers. As far as you know, is that still true, or is he neck and neck with Hillary in terms of the popular vote?
Last I saw, it was 200,000 votes she was up by.
Okay, all right. Well, then things evidently haven't happened all that much.
Right now, I just looked, and it's 234,000 votes. That's not that much in the grand scheme of things.
No, that is about the percentile, I would wager, of what all this cheating has acquired. It's interesting. Virginia went for Hillary 2 nights ago about roughly 50 to 55 to 60,000 votes. And the odd thing is that's roughly the identical number of felons that voted after Governor McAuliffe was able to let them vote by the stroke of a pen, like someone we know who happens to be in D.C. I think those numbers would be low when we found out that, in truth, how many people, when everything were equaled, how many people it was determined cheated and how they were able to cheat in this particular election. Yep. In other words, you saw a lot of voting machine fraud.
Yep.
Maybe I just didn't dig sufficiently, but it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, because I certainly could be, that when cheating occurred, it was on behalf or for the Democrats and not the Republicans.
Yeah. Well, I also said that with the exposure through WikiLeaks, Project Veritas, that we were probably going to get some, and also because of there was no excitement behind Hillary, they weren't really going to be able to do a major push of the fraud as they did with Obama, because they were able to justify, well, we had a higher black turnout, we had this, we had that. You know, you can get away with more fraud that way. Hillary, they couldn't justify having these high numbers behind her. They couldn't. It would be too blaring that they cheated. So I knew there was going to be some step back. There was some cheating, I do believe. Shenanigans, rigging, whatever you want it, whichever term anybody wants to put behind it, that's fine. But it was out there. Oh, and now I feel sorry for you and I feel sorry for the sackheads. And I hear California now wants a Cal-X. They want to leave the United States.
Yeah, well, that's a smattering of individuals who. Well, wait, I don't know why I'm saying smattering. The whole state is daft, but it's a smattering of individuals who have decided that for whatever reason that they'll be able to secede in the way that Texas will be able to secede, with the massive difference being that Texas, if it decided that it really could secede, could actually stand on its own two legs because it has an infrastructure completely ready to go, whereas California
how far in debt is California?
Pardon?
How in debt is California?
I don't quite know. All I know is that what it's doing right now is absolutely unsustainable. It's a state that refuses to increase its infrastructure whilst at the same time opening its arms, creating sanctuary cities, and saying, "Come all illegals, come all ye faithful, joyous and triumphant. We'll give you a place to be. We'd like to have more illegals. We'd like to have all the Syrians possible." Thank God that's not happening yet being the operative word. When, in fact, it absolutely refuses to build any form of infrastructure whatsoever. So let's just tax the entire electrical grid, water, sewage, garbage, invite more people in, and then refuse to do anything to accommodate those people whatsoever. Oh, except by way of taxes. Wonderful. Yeah. Just what we need.
It makes me laugh. It's what not a, like I find it funny laugh. We don't have to. I don't think I'd have to worry about the Syrian or any more of this major Muslim invasion, because those numbers aren't going to fly under Trump presidency. It's not that I don't think we should try to help some of these refugees, but I like Trump's plan. Okay, well, let's help them. Let's secure an area, have a secure area over in the Middle East, and keep them there and help them. So once we do win the area, we can it's cheaper and easier to get them back home. It would be cheaper and easier to take care of them over there than shipping them over here and having all the issues that come with it. So I don't think we'll have the Syrian invasion like a lot of us were worried about.
Well, that was another reason not to vote for Hillary Clinton, as she'd already had under Obama what they thought was going to be 10,000, but I think is 11 or 12,000 Syrian refugees, air quotes, Syrian refugees. And her plan was for immediately another 65,000 to 100,000. So we dodged a bullet with regard to that as well.
Yeah. Holy. I'm looking at some numbers, and it's holy shit. So Hillary Clinton raised close to $520 million for her election. And it's pretty much what she spent. They're saying she spent close to, $42 million on staff alone. Trump raised $270 million for his election. He ended up spending $5 per vote. She spent $8.80 per vote.
Yeah, which is not terribly far from twice the amount of money.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was less than, it says that less than $5 per vote, and she was $8.80. It's absolutely amazing. He proved not only can an outsider get elected, but you could do it spending less money.
Right, but on the other hand, when you think about it, is it really so terribly shocking that a capitalist got more bang from his buck than a socialist?
Oh, I agree. It just floors me that this mentality of I will spend more and win. No, it don't work that way. And how can you justify, and it's an old question, how can you justify spending $520 million to make $450,000 a year?
power, baby. Power.
Well, like they said, they left the White House dead broke, and now they're multimillionaires.
Well, and the funny thing about that is, again, it's so convoluted, so incredibly enmeshed and entrenched in corruption. But I had written a post probably 3 weeks, maybe about 3 weeks old now, in which the money that was acquired to begin the Clinton Foundation was money that you and I have contributed to the United States Treasury, which then went to Mr. Clinton upon his retirement for his presidential stipend, shall we say. You know, it's a stipend of hundreds of thousands of dollars, plus all the various forms that he was of cash that he was able to take advantage of in terms of building his library and other things. And so he took that as a down payment, and the Clintons manipulated and managed that so that they began the Clinton Foundation not but upon a penny coming from their own pocket. Ladies and gentlemen, you and I helped create the Clinton Foundation, essentially the largest, most global Ponzi scheme in the world. Good to know.
Yeah. It's this election opened eyes to a lot of things. It really did. And I knew we had corruption, but not to this point. The collusion with the media, and I know that's something that's kind of new, but it's not. What is going on is we need a total revamp. The DNC needs to be investigated. The mainstream media needs to be investigated top to bottom. And I'm kind of speechless on the rest of it because I can't believe our country has fallen so far down. But on a happy note, Donald Trump has a new record besides getting elected. He is the first president to fly his own plane underneath his own cost into Washington Reagan Airport. Every other president that has flown in on, I believe it's Air Force One, under the dime of the American people. He did it at his own cost. That says a lot there, too.
Well, and by doing that also, he was the first person of which I'm aware that had the luxury of the insulation of money with regard to he set a massive trend, which I don't think will ever be repeated in the near future, of which I'm aware.
Say that again. I'm sorry. I kind of phased out.
If you've got about a minute, you mentioned sackheads, and we had the election special on Tuesday night, and I think it's proper to give props where props are due. I'd spoken to Sackhead Sean a little bit after that, and I don't know if everybody listening now or listening on podcasts or that might happen to be in chat right now understands it, but you played a much larger role in that than I think anybody realizes. And I didn't understand that myself until I spoke to Sackhead Sean following the show, and that's this. You essentially became the producer of the Sackheads radio show on the election special pretty much all night. And what I mean by that is we heard you a couple of times on the air, but you were the one that was essentially coordinating things and running all the telephone calls for everyone through Skype. And I had no idea about that until I was speaking to Sean post-show, and he told me about the things that you'd been doing. So I think it's important that I and everybody else that was running present at the show, that they acknowledge all the things that you've been doing all night. And, it was late for us on the West Coast, but add 3 hours to that, and you were staying up till like 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
When we got done,
out on the East Coast.
3:30.
So I think we all owe you a great debt for the amount of work that you did behind the scenes and in front of the microphone as well when you called in. But a lot of people don't realize how hard you worked for an incredibly long amount of time to coordinate all the things behind the scenes. And so for that, my greatest thanks to you for helping out in that way. Until after the show, I had no idea that you were doing as much. So my thanks to you as well.
I appreciate that, and thank you. Basically, all it was is me and Sean called. I called him before the show, and he would mute the line. So when it was time for them to call in, they would call me. I would let Sean know behind the scenes through text, and he would just unmute the line. They would start talking. When they were done, they hung up. And then it just, that's all it went. I just played a secretary job without the skirt. That one's going to get me in trouble, I know. But I do appreciate it. And Sean put on, and Clint, it took a while. I didn't realize how much planning and everything went into that show. I was talking to Sean, I think, Monday night. And he was all worried. I'm sitting back like, don't worry about it, man. It's Sean put in a lot of work, and Clint put in a lot of work. When I say Sean, I'm also talking about Clint. So, sorry, Clint. I don't always include your name in it. The show we did, yeah, I loved it. I was here for 2014, and we had a great show that night. But I think we got even better. And it amazes me how strong this station is and is getting.
Well, in retrospect, I happened to listen to the show again yesterday for a period of time. And I have to say that the whole thing basically sounded seamless. And I know it's like back patting all around, but I felt compelled to acknowledge your role. You had a massive role in making that thing seamless, as I indicated, and it sounded like any other professional radio show. People calling in, opinions being weighed. It was just as if you were listening to anyone else's professional radio show, and you had a massive part in making it that way. So, and that is why my hat is off to you for that. Behind the scenes, people had no idea how you were helping and making it just run seamlessly.
I appreciate it. And I owe Sean and Clinton so much that's the least I can do. I mean, it's most stations, and I was talking to a couple others, and the cost that they wanted me to come up with, when I didn't even know what the hell I was doing when I first started. I mean, they were talking $250, $300 a week for me to do a show, and I was like, holy shit. And me and Sean talked, and he understood the situation I'm in, and he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Maybe, if some things work out and you get some sponsors, then we'll talk about it. But, he's never charged me a dime for doing any of this, and I owe him. He's helped me. He's worked through, from when I first started compared to now. Yeah, I have improved. I sat back and not too long ago, I don't like to listen to my own shows, but I sat back and listened to one of the older shows. I was like, holy shit, I sound like a moron. And I couldn't believe it. I owe Sean and Clint so much that I'll never be able to repay them. I need to hit a break real quick. Hopefully you'll still be here after that. And you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.1. And I still have the great BZ with me. It's an honor to have you here today, sir.
Well, thank you ever so kindly. If it's all right, I'm going to be here for about another 15 minutes, then I'm going to have to go jam. I think, were there some things that you took away from this particular election, some things that you didn't see coming, for example? Or perhaps the question should be, what did you take away from this election?
I took away, on a positive note, that when push comes to shove, our country will do the right thing. We were on a ledge of the continued failed policies of the progressives, which would have led to pretty much, whether it would happen underneath Hillary's presidency, but it would have continued because I don't think there would have been another Republican president. I don't even know how many more elections we would have had after that. We would have started to lose more of our freedoms. Trump's not the one that went out there and said that the government has the right to regulate our constitutional rights, which is a direct contradiction of why we have constitutional rights. They are rights we have that the government can't touch. I've learned that my 13-year-old daughter is more honorable, more respectful than most of these young adults that are out there protesting and whining about a loss. And I posted on Facebook, and I'm going to say it here. I'm going to make a quote, and I'm going to get yelled at for it. But I'm not going to get, not you, BZ, but we won. Elections have consequences. Now I'm quoting somebody. Do you know who made that statement?
Well, yes. As that particular individual that you're quoting, he didn't just say it once. He said it time and time again. Harry Reid said it time and time again. Nancy Pelosi said it time and time again. The quote was, elections have consequences, and at the end of the day, I won. Yep. And that was President Obama saying that to House Republican Whip Eric Cantor. Oddly enough, I still remember the damn day, January 23rd of 2009, of all strange things that happened to be in my wheelhouse. Elections have consequences, and at the end of the day, I won. Well, Donald Trump can now say the exact same thing to Barack Hussein Obama.
Well, you could say it to these childish protests. And again, all it is George Soros trying to disrupt a country. He's known for doing it. He's done it in other countries. He's banned from several countries. There's a couple of countries that have warrants out for his arrest, that if he steps foot in their country, he will be arrested. And he's here financing this upheaval of the public. For what? The democratic process? It was an election. Trump won. It's done. Lick your wounds. Cry in your little corner for a couple of days. Pick yourself up. Get organized for 2018. And come back for the fight for 2018. That's my response. I mean, I don't want to see the Democrats take control, but you know what? Pick yourself up. Stop being a victim. And just get ready for 2018. Take the fight to us. I love a challenge. I want to see a fight. Not physical, but the battle. I think when you don't have competition, you don't have advancement. And when these politicians have no one running against them, or one that a competition, it doesn't bring out the best in people. They get complacent. They get stagnant in how they're going to govern us. That's my take.
Make no mistake, the goal of Democrats is to try to do their level best to ensure that they are elected in perpetuity in order to keep and control power. And the goal is to keep, that is the key word, is to keep power. And the riots and whatnot that we've been seeing is an expression of a bit of organization, but it's also an excuse to do what a lot of people just enjoy doing in the first place, which is chaos and turning things upside down. I have a particular post on my blog for this morning earlier where there are some people that I think the incident occurred in Chicago, and they immured themselves on video so that the faces are clearly seen. They pull they're specifically young black urban males who pull an older white man out of a car, and one by one they end up beating him up, and then at the conclusion of the video, and I have two separate versions of it on the site, they steal his car. And as I wrote, this is a crime in progress, and it's documented by the suspects themselves. In California, there would be two felony crimes there, robbery and carjacking. And it occurred on Wednesday in Chicago directly after the Trump win. And so it's up to the police jurisdictions, apparently the Chicago PD, unless it's in some other suburb, as well as the FBI and the DOJ, to go after these individuals as hate crimes. And it's also up to the American media to place this video, both of those videos, on television, newspapers, and all across the Internet in order to bring these suspects to justice for their felonious hate crimes. They were hate crimes because it's obvious the stemming of them, why they were doing. You can hear the people mention that he's a Trump voter. So the motivation behind that is absolutely clear. But guess what? You won't see local newspapers pick that up. You won't see cable TV place those videos on TV. And I don't believe that you're going to see the DOJ or the FBI go after those particular individuals for hate crimes. Barack Obama is still in charge, and you can be guaranteed that he has already moistened the tip of his pen, and the pardon for Hillary Rodham Clinton is just waiting to be issued, because he still has until January 20th to turn as much of this country upside down as he possibly can.
Yeah, and that's definitely, I see that happening. They're going to try to, as I said, they're walking out the building, the proverbial building, and they're lighting that proverbial match and throwing it as they walk out and trying to burn down as much as they can. Because if I don't put in that proverbial, you'll have some liberal freaking, oh, he's talking about arson. He wants to destroy. No, I'm talking about they're going to try to do as much damage on the way out as they can. And that scares the crap out of me, too, because this is not going to be fixed by one president, one term. It takes 2 terms to screw this country up, and it's going to take decades to fix.
With one caveat, and to me, this was one of the major bottom lines for voting for Trump. I think, Jersey Joe, we actually have saved SCOTUS for a generation.
Oh, yeah.
Thank God for that.
Now, my dad, he's not anti-gun, but my dad, he doesn't own a gun. He doesn't want to own a gun, but he doesn't think it should stop other people from owning. And I was sitting down with him. I said, yeah, I'm actually kind of, relieved. And he goes, yeah, we don't have to worry about you losing your weapon and being able to protect yourself. And it was like, damn. And it's funny to look at my dad because he was shot. My dad took 2 bullets. And he doesn't blame the gun. He doesn't even blame the guy that shot him. He just, it's done and over with, let's go. But he's not this one. He believes that people have a right to protect himself. And he can see that The criminals aren't going to pay attention to whatever these laws. And he believes, honestly, people should have the right to protect themselves. And we discussed that not everybody should carry a gun or own a gun. There's people that shouldn't. But the terms that they want to use and how Hillary wanted to push it, it was a widespread ban. And that got saved by this election. And she tried, and she knows better. The Democrats know better. They pushed that gun issue too far, and it pissed off enough Americans. That alone, I think, helped sway the vote. Go ahead.
I took some things away from this that I kind of quantify like this. The election allowed that the terrible curtain to have been sort of shockingly and yet inadvertently at the same time pulled back so that the average American finally sees how leftist media and leftist political sausage is made. And after looking at that, they didn't care for it one bit, just as Britons voted down their own political elites in the UK, so Americans decided to do that right here in the United States. A year ago, I don't think anybody could have predicted this. Very few saw it coming. I venture to say that perhaps not even Donald Trump saw it a year ago.
No.
But over time, he finally realized that he tapped this large swelling vein of irritation and disappointment and outright disgust. I can think of no better word, disgust with the status quo as presented by Barack Hussein Obama and his leftist minions, now, then, as represented by Hillary Rodham Clinton. She constituted the epitome of corruption and oppression by way of regulation, taxation, and literally political correctness gone mad and absolutely off the rails.
I'm sorry, I'm going to change the subject, but kind of talk about that. I still can't believe that Bill Mathers sat up there, whether it was a comedy special or not. He got serious during this one point and said that he would fucking kill Anthony Weiner if Hillary Clinton lost her election. They're not blaming her. They got to blame anybody and everybody else. It wasn't Anthony Weiner. Who gave him access to that information? Hillary did. Who's the one that put up an illegal email server? Hillary did. Who's the one that ran her campaign into the ground? Hillary did. Who's the one that attacked supporters and not the candidate? Hillary did. Hillary was her own undoing. She did it in 2008. She ran her campaign into the ground. And she did it again. It is not anybody's fault. It is her fault. Well, I don't want to say anybody's fault. It is her fault. But they got to blame and point the fingers at everybody else. And I can't believe it. And having a liberal up there who you're supposed to love Trump's hate, but he's up there saying he will murder somebody. How is that man not in handcuffs right now? He made a death threat against somebody while cameras were on him and nothing. If I did that, I'd be screwed so bad.
Well, again, it has to do with the incredible leftist bias of the media, and clearly that indicates that, yes, it was absolutely Hillary Rodham Clinton that's responsible for all of that. It was like it was the worst or the best fight, that election, that you could possibly not imagine. It was essentially the two least likable or capable finalists supported, and I use that term very loosely, by their respective political parties, sent to brawl for what's essentially the most exalted American civilian possible, civilian position possible, President of the United States. But the curtain was indeed pulled back. You know, you could say, and I think it wouldn't be too far from the truth, that Trump was a classless bore. The allegations were flying around to and fro, and yet simultaneously Hillary Rodham Clinton began to shed her own clothes, so to speak, at a startling rate, proving again that some things, once seen cannot be unseen. And the facts that started to emerge were these. Hillary Rodham Clinton's faults were legion and more mind-boggling, more long-ranging, more impactful, and ethically deficient than any of those of Donald Trump. That's admittedly a rather large and tall bar to surmount just by saying that. And even the American media, what I call the media, the American media maggots, had to admit it appeared that Hillary Clinton is simply incapable of telling the truth. It just can't occur with her.
No. And I want to change subjects because I know you got to get going soon. You had some people that you knew personally attack you recently over this whole election. We were talking about it during the break briefly.
I lost some acquaintances because of that, and then there were 3 particular people that just went off the rails. And the funny thing was, these were people that, that were saying all along that they were conservative. But one in particular that I was listening to, and I won't tell you his name. I mean, he knows who he is, and I don't hate this guy, but he literally went off the rails. I don't know if I can repeat the things on your show that he wrote.
This is a Jersey Joe show. We don't hold back, so say what you need to.
He just went on and on for tweet after tweet after tweet. One of them was, "I am listening to cattle call. Y'all can go fuck." If Trump lost an outside possibility of getting some entertainers back to Earth, now they'll be jockeying for appointments. Fuck them all. And the one that I happen to be the recipient, seriously, all you people who made this happen, fuck you. Yes, you also. And you, and you, and you, and you. Did I mention you? Sorry, you too. Then he says, dead, it's all dead. Every pretense that y'all ever promulgated. Ha, 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 funny shit, etc. Hilarious. And then another one, it's all a goddamn joke. The important thing is leftist tears. Go fuck yourselves. Then all dead, all of it, nothing left, hardy, ha, ha. Then another one, you think this was a mortal blow to the left? What the hell kind of shit echo chamber are you living in? You really have no idea, do you? And then another one, people I once thought smart, well, and this was addressed, people I once thought smart have no fucking idea what they have just unleashed. Only a handful of us seem to grasp it. So already it's us and them. And he had the greater intelligence of anyone involved because he could see much more clearly than any of us can see. So, once you've jumped that particular shark, you've delineated a clear line between those, like leftists, who know and can see things much clearer than anyone else. Trump wasn't the ideal candidate by far. He wasn't my candidate. But in terms of corruption and a lot of the things that occurred, his words were just that, words. One of the people that accused him, a 13-year-old, of having sex via the Lolita Express, came out on Tuesday and not only removed the lawsuit that she had against Donald Trump, saying it was all false, but came on and recanted. Well, I didn't hear of any of that in the American media, by way of the American media maggots. I had to go to UK media in order to find that out. So all of these forces that were arrayed against Trump was because of words that he said, when in fact it was deeds. I judged Hillary Rodham Clinton by deeds. And my wife, who was once a Democrat, switched over to Republican. She read the book 13 Hours. She saw the movie 13 Hours and said, after that, and she left our people hanging and would not approve greater security accommodations for those persons. She's every bit as responsible for those 4 men dying on foreign soil. Every bit as responsible. And she said that was the turning point for her. Well, now she's a Republican.
I can't believe that ran. I can believe it, but it's still stunning. And I know you got to get going, but if I could steal you for one more minute. Now, I don't know this EMT, but it's through a friend. He posted something an hour ago. He said, yesterday I responded to a neighbor in cardiac arrest. Her family was in tears as we worked on her. It is still a shock to look down and see the tattoo numbers from the concentration camp. She was a survivor.
Oh, my God.
But on the other hand, I'm watching articles about people traumatized by the election. Yale students getting counseling, pizza, and tests canceled due to the stress. People in tears on the street, etc. Come on, people. Pull yourself together and put things in perspective. And that says it all right there. What they're worried about and crying over and throwing a hissy fit over compared to the grand scheme of things is nothing.
Well, the funny thing is when things go in their direction, all is well. And when things don't go in the direction, all is lost. And it's time for bedwetting and pants-shitting hysteria, which is occurring right now. And I think even with time, even that's going to bleed off a bit. But I think it illustrates quite candidly the difference. For example, in 1991 and 1992, the rest of America was told that jury nullification was just fine by blacks. Okay, all right. And everyone at the time said, well, America, in particularly, it was directed at Caucasoids. Guess what? You're just going to have to live with it. To which I say, in reference to Barack Hussein Obama's quote, well, guess what? The rest of you, America and leftists, looks to me like you're going to have to get used to it too, because just as someone else needled us, elections do, in fact, have consequences.
Yes, they do, and it's unbelievable the how far this country has. I don't even know if that statement's correct, because, and it's only from reading about it, but it seems we're repeating the 1960s into the 70s. I remember a little bit of the 70s. I was born in 71, so, but it seems we're repeating the hippie movement again.
Well, I hate to say it and reveal my age, but I was part of it. Luckily, I came to my senses after that. I was a registered Republican, a registered Democrat for quite some time. And then when I actually became invested in this country and had an actual job and acquired responsibilities, I changed my tune rather rapidly. I think I would sum this election in 4 words real quickly. We dodged a bullet. Now the question is, now that we have the White House and the House and the Senate, the gauntlet's been hurled, and I'm doing it right now to all the rest of the Republicans. Now that you have the power, what are you going to do with it?
Exactly. They got to get off their ass. Because if they don't, there's going to be another huge movement, and they're going to be on the way out, too. But, listen, that's the end of the show for me. It's done already. I can't believe it. Time flies. I want to thank you, BZ, and let everybody know how they can find you.
I am at bloviatingzeppelin.net, and if you happen to be cruising around on Twitter, I'm at BZEP, BZEP. Thank you ever so kindly, Jersey Joe, for letting me on your show. Greatly appreciate it, sir. And thank you for your time.
Anytime,
and thank you for your
sir.
work on SHR Media election night. It was absolutely stellar.
Thank you, sir. And anytime, you know you have an open invitation.
Thank you kindly, sir.
No problem. As I said, that's kind of the end of the show, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we will see everybody tomorrow, 11 o'clock, bright and early. Have a great day. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.